As I blink my eyes open, the soft, sterile scent of antiseptic and clean linen flood my senses. The familiar yet unsettling ambience quickly tells me I'm in Sanctum General, ironically located on Sanctum Road, only a block away from the bar off Taunton. Locals joke Sanctum Hospital's on Sanctum Road, as if the repetitive humor can distract them from why they're here. My eyes sting beneath the harsh fluorescent lights glaring down from above, casting everything in a stark, unforgiving clarity. A persistent ache pulses through my head, matching the rhythm of my heartbeat. I attempt to shift positions, but the pain intensifies sharply, radiating from my jaw and ribs. Instantly, panic flickers within me as fragmented memories of the brutal encounter with Martin flash through my mind. Each merciless punch, the metallic taste of blood, the humiliation of lying helpless on the cold pavement. Tentatively, I reach up to touch my jaw, wincing as my fingers graze bandages wrapped tightly around swollen flesh. Tubes snake from my arm, tethering me to IV fluids and monitors. Grim reminders of how close I came to something even worse than this hospital bed. A gentle cough pulls my attention. A nurse stands quietly by the bedside, her smile compassionate but edged with sympathy. She softly recounts the extent of my injuries, a fractured jaw, cracked ribs, bruises painting my skin in dark, angry shades. As she speaks, shame burns hotter than any physical pain ever could. I lost. Utterly and completely. But beneath the humiliation smolders a deeper, darker ember. Martin took something more from me than my pride last night, and even now, rage coils inside of me, whispering promises of vengeance.
You have family here to see you,
the nurse announces gently before stepping away. Mom and Dad quickly approach my bedside. Their faces are tight with worry and relief. Mom's eyes shine with unshed tears as she gently brushes hair away from my forehead.
Leon, oh, sweetheart.
My jaw's still wired shut, so I simply nod, grateful for the small mercy of not having to verbally revisit what happened. At least, not yet. My dad goes to the other side of the bed and holds my hand.
You had us worried there, kiddo.
His face is riddled with stress, which I have no doubt he's trying to hide.
Thank God you're okay,
he says with a shaky sigh, squeezing my hand a little tighter. For a second, he just stands there. You can see the solace settle in his expression. But then he steels himself, trying unsuccessfully to mask his distress with sternness.
But I'm disappointed you didn't ask us before going out.
Mom interrupts swiftly, her voice tinged with dry sarcasm.
Right, dear. Hey, Mom and Dad, can I go out to a midnight bar? Don't worry, I've got fake IDs.
She shakes her head softly. Dad sighs, running a hand through his hair.
Still, he could have come to us.
Mom's gaze softens as she addresses me directly.
Listen, Leon, I understand wanting to impress someone. I did plenty of foolish things at your age, too. And try anything this reckless again, and I promise you'll end up in worse shape than this.
I manage another faint nod, a silent promise to heed her warning. Dad scoffs lightly, breaking the tension with humor.
Great job, threatening our son in a hospital.
6 weeks later, lying awake in my bed, I stare blankly at the ceiling. School resumes in 3 hours, but sleep remains elusive. All I can think about is how everyone must know about the fight, about Martin, about Sophia leaving me. I tried my best. But what do you do when your best isn't enough? What would have happened if I actually won? Unable to quiet my restless thoughts, I drag myself into the small bathroom and turn on the faucet, watching water cascade endlessly into the drain. A meaningless cycle. I stare at my reflection in the mirror, examining the hollow gaze of a person I barely recognize. My eyes, once bright, full of hope and laughter, are shadowed by dark circles carved from nights spent replaying every agonizing detail. The wires in my jaw were removed last week, but smiling still feels foreign, nearly impossible. Turning off the water, I move towards the window in my bedroom. Sunrise paints the neighborhood in shades of soft orange, deceptively peaceful despite the turmoil raging inside of me. Pulling out my phone, I open my texts with Sophia. The last message, sent the morning after everything fell apart, reads, "I wish I could have done more." She left it on red. I grip my phone tighter, silently begging for it to buzz, for Sophia to suddenly understand, to come back to me. But deep down, I know better. I lay in bed for a while. My watch tells me it was an hour, going over everything while also mentally preparing for the day I'm forced to endure. With a sigh, I walk to my closet, avoiding the ruined clothes from that night still stained with blood. I've deliberately left them untouched, a warning and a bitter reminder. Instead, I select a black hoodie, jeans, and my favorite red high-top sneakers. Grabbing my bag and slipping on the silver ring I used to wear for comfort, I step out into the hallway. I pause at my parents' door and knock softly, signaling that I'm ready. After what happened, they've insisted on driving me to school each day.
Coming!
Mom calls, footsteps soon following her voice. I brace myself during the short walk to the car, preparing defenses and explanations for the inevitable questions. Mom settles into the driver's seat, and silence cloaks us until we turn off of Maplewood Terrace onto Reading Road.
You know I'm not mad at you.
Her gentle tone catches me completely off guard. You aren't?
I understand wanting to impress a girl. I've been there. I love you, Leon. I just need you to be safe.
A surprising sadness wells within me. After weeks of dreading anger or disappointment, her understanding breaks something fragile inside of me. I know. I'm sorry. She shakes her head gently.
Sorry means nothing without change. Do you understand how dangerous that was?
Yes.
Then punishing you wouldn't help anyone. Can you tell me what happened?
I hesitate, but the dam breaks. Words spilling out quietly. I got into a fight. Behind that bar, near the hospital.
With whom?
Sophia's ex. He was harassing her. I stepped in, shoved him. Things escalated quickly. I swallow hard. Memories vivid enough to hurt. He beat me up badly. And then she left with him. Mom grips the steering wheel tighter, knuckles whitening. Tears form silently in her eyes. When she speaks, her voice trembles.
How are you holding up?
I'm not okay. But that's okay, right? Her eyes soften instantly, gaze filled with compassion.
Yes, sweetheart, it's okay not to be okay. Everything will get better. I promise.
I fall silent, unsure if my words help or only wound her further. Mom's voice steadies as she adds quietly,
Keep your head up, Leon. You will achieve greatness. I believe that.
I nod, forcing a small smile to reassure her. Exiting the car, I glance back at her expression. Heartbreak etched plainly across her features. My stomach twists, guilt heavy in my chest. I didn't just lose that fight. I let everyone down. Sophia, my parents, myself. With that bitter thought lingering, I turned towards the school. I arrive 30 minutes early and pause just outside the school entrance. All right, Leon, take a deep breath. You got this. My hand trembles slightly as I push the heavy door open, stepping hesitantly into the familiar, yet now strangely intimidating hallway. To my right, the main office sits quietly and orderly. To my left, the guidance office beckons like a siren. Perhaps a safe harbor if the day turns as awful as I fear. The silence feels oppressive, loaded with unsaid words and unspoken judgments. Rumors spread quickly here, especially juicy ones, and I can't shake the anxiety gnawing at the pit of my stomach. My 6-week absence probably sparked a wildfire of gossip, whispers spiraling about the reason behind my sudden disappearance. Before I have a chance to brace myself, Jaden barrels towards me with his usual complete disregard for personal space, nearly colliding shoulder first into my chest. His eyes were deep set, unreadable, holding the kind of quiet you find in kids who spent more time watching than talking. Not handsome in a movie star way, no. But there was something about his face that made you look twice. Maybe it was the stillness, the restraint, like a mask, carved out of patience and silent fury. His hair was a bushy, curly black, and he had the kind of face that looked like it hadn't quite decided what it wanted to be yet. Sharp angles where there should have been softness.
Leon, were you getting my messages? I kept trying.
Yeah, I got them. I interrupt him, rubbing my neck awkwardly. Sorry, man, I had a lot going on. Jaden eyes me closely, his expression shifting into something I immediately recognize as his about to say something he shouldn't face.
You mean getting your ass kicked by Sophia's boyfriend?
His words land like a gut punch, knocking the breath right out of me. I stare at him, throat tightening painfully. Her ex. Are people really talking about it? My gaze darts anxiously around the hall, half expecting accusing eyes, hushed laughter, or anything. But the corridor is mostly filled with the usual blur of students chatting mindlessly, absorbed in their own worlds. Jaden shrugs, painfully oblivious to the turmoil he's stirring.
No, Martin and Sophia are definitely dating. That's why I said boyfriend.
A chill runs through me. My heart pounds violently, the words echoing in my mind with cruel clarity. Martin and Sophia are dating. The thought is devastating. A dagger slicing through the fragile hope I stubbornly clung to. All the murmurs around me fade, replaced by a numbing internal repetition of Jaden's words. A hand waves in front of my face, pulling me harshly back to reality.
Earth to Leon. You there? You good?
Good? Are you serious right now? You just dropped a fucking bombshell on me. Jaden's mouth hangs open slightly, realization dawning too slowly across his features. He shifts uneasily, shrugging half-heartedly.
Well, shit. Maybe I shouldn't have put it like that. In my defense, I didn't know you had no clue.
I glare at him bitterly. Yeah, thanks. Got any more devastating revelations, oh wise one? He opens his mouth as if to reply, then snaps it shut, understanding finally settling into his expression. For once, he wisely chooses silence, shaking his head slightly as an apology. The school bell rings harshly overhead, signaling the start of the day, jarring us from our tense standoff. Jaden glances at the flood of students moving past, then turns back, his voice suddenly softer, almost sincere.
Listen, Leon. If you need anything, just come find me, okay?
I manage a stiff nod, not trusting myself to speak. Jaden offers one last uncertain glance before disappearing into the bustling wave of backpacks and noise. I move through the crowded hallways, weaving through streams of students, rushing to reach their classes before the second bell. Fear begins knotting tightly at the thought of bumping into Sophia. Every laugh, every whispered conversation feels like it's directed at me. Is this narcissism? Or just paranoia? Finally, I arrive at my homeroom, ethics and morality. Without hesitating, I settle into my unofficially assigned seat, pulling out my books, pencils, and paper. The desks are arranged in pairs. Ideal if Jaden were here, but unfortunately, it's a class I share with Rosalina, Sophia's friend. Eventually, she takes her seat. Her fiery red hair frames her pale, angular face. Her eyes sparkling with a sharpness I've never quite been able to place. Rosalina has always had a peculiar interest in me. We've spoken casually throughout high school, mostly around Sophia, but I've never quite understood what draws her to me. From what I've glimpsed, she's exceptionally intelligent, consistently scoring high 90s, perhaps the smartest person I know. The second bell rings, cutting through the lingering chatter. Rosalina glances at me, her voice gentle but straightforward.
I heard you got beat up pretty badly.
Uh-huh. She hesitates briefly, then continues.
I'm sorry that happened to you. From what I heard, it sounded awful.
I don't need your pity, Rosalina. Let's just not talk about it. Her expression changes immediately, withdrawing into cool detachment.
My apologies. Didn't mean to pry.
I sigh, realizing I was harsher than intended. Listen, I didn't mean...
Alright students, enough chatter. Open your textbooks to page 16. Today's topic is the famous trolley problem.
He waits for the class to shuffle pages, then continues.
You've probably heard the scenario. 5 people tied to a train track. 1 person tied to another track. You can pull a lever to divert the train. Typically, the choice seems easy. 1 life versus 5. But let me complicate this for you. Imagine those 5 people are notorious serial killers. Bundy, Dahmer, H.H. Holmes. Truly terrible individuals. The lone person is a stranger. Would you let the stranger die to save 5 killers? Flip that now. The lone person is someone close to you. Perhaps your mother, your sibling, or a hero you admire. And there are 5 strangers tied to the track. Now, how easy is your choice? This scenario raises a fundamental ethical question. Is all life inherently equal? What determines the value of 1 life versus another? Think about this, we'll discuss shortly.
Rosalina leans slightly towards me, her tone curious yet sharp.
So, what will you do?
I glance sideways. About what?
5 strangers tied to 1 track, your mother on the other? Do you pull the lever to save 5 lives or protect your mother?
Look, about what I said before.
Forget it. Question still stands though. What's your choice?
I want to say I'd save the 5 people. It seems morally correct, but realistically, I'm not sure I can actively kill my own mother. What about you?
I'd save my mum.
A wry smile tugs at her lips.
And I'd hate myself forever because of it, but hey, she's my mother. She's part of why I'm still here, you know?
Her tone shifts playfully at the end, masking a seriousness beneath. So, inherently, we assign people different values based on personal connections?
Isn't it obvious?
She says this while raising an eyebrow.
If someone's getting bullied, most people wouldn't step in unless it was someone they knew personally. We all operate on subjective value.
It'd be easier if everyone's worth was visible on some screen, wouldn't it? I muse, half jokingly. Her smile widens, enigmatically.
But where's the excitement in that? The uncertainty is what makes life worth living.
It's exciting until you're the one on the tracks, hoping someone decides your life matters enough. She shrugs, almost elegantly.
Either they care enough to save me, or it ceases to be my problem entirely.
So what's the value of a stranger then?
To us personally, nothing. 0.
But everyone matters to someone, right? What if the stranger's about to cure cancer or something? Rosalina leans closer, intrigued.
But we'd never know that, would we? Should we assign more value based solely on a maybe?
Exactly.
Everyone. Leon, say that again.
Caught off guard, I stammer slightly. I didn't... Damn it. Should we assign more value based solely on a maybe?
And your maybe was...
That a stranger might be doing great things, helping the world in ways we don't know about. But because they're unknown to us, their inherent value remains low, maybe zero.
Precisely. Life isn't simple. Right and wrong aren't always clear-cut. To some, saving your mother is noble. To others, selfish. Your actions will always be interpreted through others' perceptions, not your intentions. Thus, ensure your decisions align with who you truly want to be. Value yourself first, the rest will follow.
Another student raises their hand. Isn't that a bit selfish, sir?
No, it's not selfishness. You have only one life. Live in ways that genuinely fulfill you. Your first responsibility is to yourself. Then you'll find genuine value in how you treat others.
The bell rings, breaking the thoughtful silence that followed his words.
All right, everyone. Great discussion today. I'll see you all tomorrow.
Students leap from their chairs, flooding out into the crowded hallway. I follow behind slowly. Today's lesson stubbornly replaying in my mind. The teacher's words about valuing yourself first echo inside me. No matter how I think about it, prioritizing yourself seems inherently selfish, doesn't it? Yet his reasoning was oddly convincing. Wouldn't the world be happier if everyone looked after each other first? I shake my head, conflicted. I arrive at my second class, biology. Desks are aligned neatly in 3 straight rows, each facing the whiteboard at the front. Quietly, I take my seat, third desk from the back, and begin unpacking my books when a familiar figure enters the room. Sophia. My breath catches painfully in my chest. I'd forgotten she had this class. Everything else seems to fade away, muted to insignificance as I watch her move gracefully to her seat. Her hair falls softly over her shoulders, eyes purposefully avoiding mine as though I don't even exist. A familiar ache twists in my chest. I want desperately to approach her, to say something, anything. But my thoughts are tangled in uncertainty. Why did she go back to him? Did I ever really matter to her at all? I grip the edge of my desk, anxiety clawing up my throat.
Stop staring at Sophia, dude. She clearly doesn't want you.
The classroom erupts into laughter, and a scorching wave of embarrassment washes over me, pinning me helplessly to my chair. I open my mouth to speak, to defend myself, but my voice dies silently in my throat. My cheeks burn hotly as I lower my head, avoiding everyone's amused eyes.
Leave him alone!
Sophia snaps suddenly, her voice hard, protective even.
He gave it his all.
Clearly wasn't enough!
Someone else, a heavy-set boy near the front, scoffs loudly. Sophia spins towards him, eyes blazing, voice dripping with disdain.
Think your fat ass would have done better? Sit down before you run out of breath.
The class plunges into awkward silence, broken only by quiet snickers at Sophia's sharp comeback. I lift my gaze, slowly, heart hammering painfully, gave it his all. Just another way of saying I failed. The participation badge of words. He gave it his all, and it still wasn't enough.
That's what I thought.
Unexpectedly, her eyes flicker to mine. For a brief, painful moment, a look crosses her face. Anguish? Guilt? Something I can't quite name. Before she steels herself again, returning to her stoic mask and looking away. The teacher strides into the room and begins lecturing, but his words fade into meaningless static. All I pick up is something about oxygen bonded with our blood. My thoughts spiral endlessly. Why did Sophia defend me again, if she's chosen Martin anyways? Has she ever genuinely cared about me? Or was I always just another pawn in her twisted game? I try desperately to shake off these dark thoughts, but they latch onto me, unyielding. I almost died because of Martin. I almost lost everything. And Sophia returned to him and stayed with him like our fight was some twisted gladiator match for her heart. And I lost. I push through the bustling hallways towards the back doors, the noisy chaos around me blending into an unsettling hum. My heart races, my thoughts drifting again. The flood of students surrounding me gradually melts into something else, a memory pulling me back into the night at the bar. Suddenly, I'm there again, the air thick with smoke, the bass thudding deep in my chest. Sophia's hand grips mine tightly, guiding me through the crowd. In that moment, despite all the noise, it felt like only the two of us existed. My chest tightens at the memory, the familiar ache returning with brutal clarity. Cold air rushes against my face as I step outside, jerking me back into reality. Buses sit idling, their engines rumbling gently. I linger at the edge of the sidewalk, staring blankly, unable to shake the echoes of that night.
Leon!
I look around until my eyes land on Jaden, leaning against a bench, one hand raised lazily in greeting. I shove through clusters of students, reaching him with heavy footsteps. Sup? Jaden studies me with narrowed eyes.
First day back didn't help, huh?
I shrug, avoiding his gaze. Not really. He sighs, crossing his arms.
Look, man, she left you without even looking back. Why torture yourself?
I grit my teeth. She did look back, I think to myself, as a flare of irritation begins to rise. It's not that simple, Jaden. Not everyone can just turn off their feelings. He snorts softly.
Who says I've turned mine off?
Literally everyone who's met you. I shoot back, rolling my eyes. His expression softens just slightly.
All I'm saying is, she's not worth this much suffering.
Before I can respond, our bus pulls up, brakes screeching as it stops. Jaden gestures towards it with his head.
Come on.
I follow him silently up the steps and move instinctively towards the back row, where I can fade away without prying eyes. As I settle in, my gaze drifts through the bus window, and I freeze. Sophia's climbing into Martin's car, his arm wrapping possessively around her shoulders as they speed away, tires screeching loudly. My mind reels painfully. Jaden elbows me lightly.
Earth to Leon. Remember our talk?
I clench my jaw, still staring at the now empty parking space. Jaden, just shut up for a second. Sorry, I add quietly, feeling immediate regret. He lifts his hands, palms out.
Suit yourself.
He adds while turning away slightly. The bus jolts forward, and silence stretches between us, filled only by the low hum of the engine. Questions flood my mind, each piercing deeper than the last. Do you think she just likes him better? Jaden turns slightly towards me, considering.
If I can be honest,
He waits for my nod.
maybe it's not about you. Maybe she's not intentionally trying to hurt you.
Then why choose to stay with him right after watching me lose? Why hasn't she left already? Feels intentional. Jaden shrugs lightly, fidgeting with the zipper of his backpack.
I said maybe. I'm not sure. But there could be more to it.
I sink lower into my seat, defeated. I can't think of any reason that makes it hurt less. He gives my shoulder a brief pat, awkward but sincere, and returns to his phone. I stare blankly ahead as the bus moves on. When we reach Maytay Street and Clementine Road, Jaden rises, adjusting his bag over one shoulder.
Just remember what I said?
I nod, forcing a weak smile as he steps off the bus. 15 minutes later, the bus halts at Maplewood Terrace. I shuffle down the aisle and off the bus, barely registering the driver's friendly wave. As I walk home, the fading daylight stretches the shadows, matching my mood perfectly. At home, I'm met by my parents' sympathetic smiles, the kind that tells me that they've been discussing everything behind closed doors. I feel their pity, and I hate it, even though I know it comes from love. Today's been draining. Can I go up and nap?
Of course, Leon. Just wake up around 5:30 for dinner. All right, sweetheart?
Will do, I reply, heading upstairs, each step feeling heavier than the last. Closing my bedroom door, I peel off my clothes, dropping them carelessly on the floor and collapsing onto my bed. Staring at the ceiling, I let the day's emotional exhaustion wash over me, desperately wishing sleep would take me. A sudden vibration pulls me from the brink of unconsciousness. I reach lazily for my phone, glancing at the glowing screen. Instantly, my heart seizes. It's Sophia. 4 words. Simple, yet devastating.
We need to talk.